What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please go ahead and click that link in the description, go to change.org and slap your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, when we talk to these people, when we speak to these folks and we tell them what we want and they blatantly ignore us, that's a slap to the face. When we tell you we don't care what you think we want, our agenda is A, B, and C, and then you basically just push us to the side and said, oh, no, we ain't doing none of that, that's a slap to the face. Especially when you want our vote, and especially when you will be running for president at some point in your career. Now, I say that because we're going back to California today, and we're going to talk about the slime known as Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom got into the ears of the congressional black legislators, and he basically told them to just never bring up the reparations bills that was actually going to do something to the floor. The bills that actually would create a Freedmen's Bureau to distribute cash payments to Black Americans in California. More specific, to the descendants of slaves who live in California. He had them shut down that bill. And he had them shut down one of the other bills. And it's irritating to me, the bills that actually would have done something, the people who are supposed to be our black leaders didn't have the balls to bring it to the floor for a vote. Now, the bills that did make it to Gavin Newsom's desk, one of the only ones that would have at least done something for the people who've lost property. Gavin Newsom chose to veto that bill as well. Gavin Newsom vetoes bill to help black families reclaim land for being impossible to implement. Family, when it comes to anyone else or anything else, you don't hear that word impossible to implement. You don't hear that phrase. You don't hear the word impossible, nor do you hear the phrase impossible to implement when it comes to, let's say, illegal immigrants. Now, we have constitutional rights as citizens of these United States, and illegal immigrants do not have those same rights. So the things that we're supposed to have rights to, like the right to health care and all that other stuff, they're getting for free, the illegal immigrants. I didn't hear anybody saying that would be impossible to implement. Gavin Newsom let me rephrase that. Gavin Newsom and the black electorate, the legislators in themselves, they have no problem doing things for other people. He goes off to sign a bill to help Holocaust survivors recover art that was stolen by the Nazis. He didn't say that was impossible to implement. No, no, he didn't. When Gavin Newsom signs a bill to say we're going to ban local voter ID requirements. Who is that for? It isn't for us because we all have the required documents in order to vote. So who is he doing that for? The illegal immigrants. And at no point in time did he say this would be impossible to implement. Let's get into it. Gavin Newsom is giving $300 to these illegals per week using unemployment benefits, which they're not supposed to be able to receive. You don't hear him saying this will be impossible to implement. But when it comes to us, it's impossible to implement. Cash payments, that's impossible to implement. Land back, that's impossible to implement. Tangibles, that's impossible to implement. This is where we are, family. I'm gonna play this clip. Shout out to Sir Major for posting this, and he's absolutely right. He says California Governor Gavin Newsom proves that he's a racist and anti-black because he deliberately and intentionally obstructed, sabotaged, and denied Black Americans reparations, but gave illegal immigrants $300 per week in unemployment benefits. In unemployment benefits. This was just as bad as when Biden brought over the Ukrainians and then started allowing certain Ukrainians to receive Social Security. Just as bad. Because these are government programs that are supposed to be for the citizens of the government. But these programs are being used to give an economic floor to a bunch of people that shouldn't be here. To a bunch of people who should be deported or in jail because they broke the laws to get into this country. Now, let me say this. I am not an anti-immigrant type of person. That's not my get down. I am a full supporter of immigration when it's done correctly. When you go through the proper channels, I welcome immigration. But what we've been seeing for the past 4 years, this isn't immigration. It's an invasion. And no immigrant who shouldn't be here should be receiving the benefits that a United States citizen should be receiving. That's just period point in black. That's just period point in black. There should be no reason, none whatsoever, that the benefits that are supposed to be for United States citizens are going to people who are not citizens of these United States. They don't pay into our tax revenue, our taxes. They don't pay into anything. not Social Security or anything. But yet they can get free medical care. They can get housing. They can get funded. All these people that talk about, my parents came here with $2 in their pocket and they made themselves wealthy by working hard and sticking together and making sure that they just didn't go back on their values. Leaving out the part where America has consistently given these people economic floors while depriving Black Americans of the very same thing. While obstructing our justice, they give our funds that's supposed to be to our justice claim to a bunch of people that has no claim to this land whatsoever, has no claim to the citizenship that we have. But when we speak up, we're xenophobic. Let's get into this video. Yes, family, yes, it is. It's ludicrous, is what it is. It's outlandishly crazy. It's outlandishly ludicrous. It is outlandish in general. It is something that we should be just outraged about all across America. Not just Black Americans. Every American should be outraged by this nonsense because what should be for you, oh, that's going to someone else who isn't even a citizen of the country in which we belong to. I read an article yesterday, and we're probably going to go over it sometime next week. But I read an article about the hurricane that hit North Carolina and how FEMA has no more money for the citizens of America who go through those kind of disasters. After dumping $1.4 billion into illegal immigrants. This should piss off everybody. And yeah, I heard some of those, cities were sundown towns and, God's will. And to all my brothers and sisters who live in those areas, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. But these are things that we're seeing as not just Black Americans, but as Americans that should be called out consistently. So when Gavin Newsom tries his hardest to run for president like he plans to, these things need to be brought up. The $300 per week to illegal immigrants, the I'm sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. The medical care, free medical care for illegal immigrants, the reparations situation. And speaker, let's go back to that reparations situation because there is something else I wanted to touch on when it came to Gavin Newsom. Because he did sign some what they are calling reparation bills. And shout out to Red Joker. He got a great picture of the CLBC uh when the CLBC and Gavin Newsom when he signed these so-called reparation bills. So here's the great picture. This is a wonderful representation of what went down. So apparently, one of the bills that he signed was an apology. Keep the apology and cut the check, Gavin. Keep the apologies. Cut the check, Mr. Newsom. We don't care for the apology. When a person goes to jail and the judge speaks to this person and he asks him, do you understand why you're here? Do you understand what you did? And the person either pleads guilty or not guilty. If he's found guilty or if he pleads guilty, not only does that person go to jail, but that person must now pay restitution to the person, the victim of harm in which he caused. Let me run that back. Let me say that again. Let me say that again in case some people wasn't paying attention. If a person, let's say a man he gets arrested and he goes to court and he either pleads guilty or he's found guilty, not only does that man goes to jail, but that man then must pay restitution to the victim that he harmed. The judge don't say, well, once you get out of jail, you got to go and apologize to these people. No, 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 no. He says, once you get out of jail, you must pay restitution. If not, have you pay restitution while you're in jail. So ain't no apology big enough to give to us. Damn the apology, you gonna pay what you owe. Cut the check. See, these people, they look at us as if we don't have the good sense God gave us to survive in this world. While all these coons are sitting there cheesing with their handler, their white zaddy, we're all down here actually in the slums making things happen. And trust me when I say karma is a mother lover and not a fine one. And that mother lover is coming after each and every one of these coons with the fierce force of the ancestors. I pray these people get their affairs in order. Because I've seen what happens. I've seen what happens when you mess with the wrong people, when you mess with God's people, when you mess with the people who has the most reason to have a grievance here. Oh, my Lord. I don't wish mercy upon any of these people. Whatever happens, happens. When you mess with us, foundational Black Americans, or whatever you like to call yourself, when you mess with the descendants of American slaves, guess what? The universe starts working against you. And when these coons get they nigga wake up moment, I'ma be right there with the brand new segment. Black and Petty. Actually, I already have the whole opening and everything for it. So, family, we just gotta understand that these folks, these black faces in high places, and folks like Gavin Newsom, all of these people are the enemy of the Black American. All of these people are the enemy of the descendant of the American slave. That's what it is. And that's just what it is. And how it's going to be is we're going to hold all they feasts to the fire. You about to lose your jobs. And Gavin Newsom, you might as well just stay right there in California because that's the closest you're going to get to being a president ever. Ever. Now let's look at this nonsense that they're claiming to be reparations. First in the nation reparations bill package signed by governor. Now remember this name, Dr. Corey A. Jackson, because that's one of the people that got to get a foot to the ass up out of there. AB 51, Early Child Care and Education, California State Preschool Programs. That has nothing to do with reparations. AB 1815, Discrimination, Race, Hairstyles. Why didn't you just do a regional anti-Black hate crime bill, which would have covered any type of discrimination, period, when it comes to Black Americans? Oh, because y'all didn't want to. AB 1984, Pupil Discipline, Transfer Reporting. What in the hell is pupil discipline? I know what it is, as in, you know, you're if you're like a grad student or something like that, or you taking a college course or something like that, a law student or a lawyer. You look at another lawyer, that's your pupil. So is pupil discipline is like being disciplined by people who look like me? I'm confused. That's very vague. AB 1986. State prisons ban books. Has nothing to do with reparations. AB 3089. Chattel slavery formal apology. Damn the apology, just cut the damn check. SB 1089. Food and prescription access, grocery and pharmacy closures. What does that have to do with reparations? SB 1340, discrimination. Like I said, you can put through a regional anti-black hate crime bill, and that would cover all of that. SB 1348, designation of California black servers serving institutions. Has nothing to do with reparations. AB 1929, career technical education, data collection. What in the world am I reading, people? Can somebody tell me? Because this is not a reparations bill. None of these things have to do with reparations. None of these things have to do with reparations. AB 3131, strong workforce program, applicants receiving equity multiplier funding. And this doesn't even make any sense. Applicants receiving equity from where? The workforce? How do you receive equity from your job unless they're giving you equity within the company? No. Equity is reparations. That's what equity would be. That's what we're fighting for, equity in a country we built. So, family, you see, none of these things has nothing to do with reparations whatsoever. Gavin Newsom had no problem signing all these things into office. But anything that had any tangible benefit, oh, no. It either got vetoed or it didn't even get brought to the floor for a vote. And this is where we're at, family. This is where we're at. So when these people try to come to you and they try to push Gavin Newsom as the next best option to run for president, you be sure to bring all this up to them. Because while we can't get a damn thing popping, oh, Gavin Newsom out here doing things for other people, he has no problem doing things and making sure that other people are going to eat, just not Black Americans. So since he want to make sure he veto or don't bring our issues to the floor, we'll make sure you never make it to the White House. And with that being said, family and friends, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear it. If you have not done so yet, hit that link in the description, go to change.org and go sign the RDAS Act. which is my reparations bill that I wrote. That is an actual reparations bill starting off with $40 trillion in the Freedmen Fund to distribute that $40 trillion to the descendants of American slaves. There's also programs and other things within it. So if you have not read it yet, please make sure to take the time to go read the RDAS Act. The link is in the description, and then sign your signature on it. Because we can allow these folks to continue. If we don't push our bills, nobody will. They'll either toss them to the side or they will get them vetoed. And you ain't vetoing Black Americans no longer. You won't veto our issues no longer and think that you're going to make your way up the ladder. And with that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.